Hi everybody. So we were looking for some content to fill some time and thought we might add a couple of food items a little bit at a time. So I'm going to make some chili today and probably be the best chili you'll ever eat. So stick with me and see where we go. So here's a look at the ingredients we're going to be using. So we have some beef roast, is a rump roast. Have some beans, variety of garbanzo beans, black beans, kidney beans, some mushrooms, some tomatoes, pepper, onion, garlic, celery, beef base, some coriander, oregano, some cummin, some paprika, chili powder, cilantro, some black pepper, and some sea salt. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to cut this roast up into some steak-like things and put some seasoning on them and throw them on the grill so they start cooking. So for these, we're just going to put a little olive oil on. Need to put just a little coating of oil on this stuff too. Salt. A little pepper. A little touch of cilantro. And off to the grill we go. That'll cook about 6 minutes per side. So we're going to chop these pretty coarse. We're going to coarse chop the garlic a little bit. Probably like 5 or 6 nice sized cloves. And if you look in that pan, you'll notice that I had a really nice piece of peppercorn bacon left over from breakfast this morning, which I figured would give that a nice little smoky flavor. Here comes the celery.
Put in the pan. Then
somewhere between 30 and 40 months from moving to the Philippines, and we're pretty excited. But we still got a little ways to work before we're ready to go. And there's a lot of stuff to do. We have to find a plan, have to find an architect and an engineer. Have a lot of work to do on the site to prepare it. we plan to do our own supervision. We'll be playing our own general contractor, and so we're going to be needing to get a plan developed pretty soon, and a list of materials, and then we got to source materials, and it's kind of going to be fun. So we're looking forward to that. So you can tell we're not doing this perfectly, but we're not building a rocket ship. We're just going to eat this stuff. There's the boy. And that's almost all of our mirepoix. Okay. Boy, that looks good enough to eat. We'll let that cool off for a little while. This is not an exact science here, so we're generally about a quarter teaspoon of coriander, a little heavy, paprika, smoked, equal amount of oregano, equal amount of cilantro, I tend to mix this up a little bit, and I think this is all we got on hand right now. I usually use about 1.5 to 2 tablespoons of chili powder. I typically like to use a mild for about half of it and then a hotter one, so we have 2 different levels of heat. But today we just got the one, so we're going to go with 1 and a good half. And we can adjust that later if we need to. And then it's about 2 tablespoons of cummin. There's 1. And we'll call that good enough. And cummin. So I typically don't add any more salt. We'll add a little pepper just to give it another level. I don't really endorse any, but we like this one.
Yeah, that is really good.
Good solid couple tablespoons. A little bit on the heavy side. And then what we're going to do is we're going to, after our vegetables get soft, we're going to add this in and let it just kind of coat the vegetables, and then we'll put some water in, and then we'll start dumping the rest of these ingredients. So we're going to let this cook just till the onions become clear, translucent, a little bit soft, and just going to kind of let them, not sure what the technical term is, but we'll let them gently get soft. So one of the things I like to do is make sure I wipe the top of these cans off. You know, I'm a truck driver for a living, and I know where these cans have been sitting around, and God only knows what kind of critter's been running around in the warehouse that this stuff's been stacked in. So it's always a good idea to just clean the tops of these off before you open them up. So you don't want any of that stuff in whatever you're making. And many times we'll use the dry beans. I'll use the dry kidney beans, and that makes a really nice chili. But everybody here seems to like the blend of the 3 different, the black beans, the dark kidney beans, and the garbanzo, and some mushrooms and tomato, and that seems to be a pretty good mix for us. So, you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we're going to drain the water out of the mushrooms. And then we're just going to add the mushrooms and the tomatoes in. And these are just a petite diced tomato with some peppers and onions, and give that a little stir. We're going to get this up to a boil, and then we're going to add in the beans. Cutting these up into small size pieces. Anyways, for some reason, my wife, being Filipino, does not like ground beef. She likes ground pork, ground lamb, ground just about anything. But ground beef is just not sit with her well. So when I started making chili the first time, she didn't really care for it. I decided to try this route. And I don't think I've ever made it differently since then. And so we've always bought, whether it's a charcoal grill steak or a rump roast or whatever it is, and generally buy 2 to 3 pounds, and sometimes we throw it in the frying pan, or if it's nice out, we'll throw it on the grill and just brown it up with some seasoning and then cool it off and cut it up into small bite-sized pieces. And if I'm lucky, between my wife and the dog, we get more in the pot for the chili than they eat. So, pretty good stuff. So we got our black beans, kidney beans. And traditionally, I always use just kidney beans. And then as I made chili more and more and more and more, I added the black beans, and then we tried it with some garbanzo beans, and they were a hit. So anyways, we got 3 different kinds of beans and about almost 3 pounds of rump roast in here, cut up into bite-sized pieces, and some vegetables, and a lot of seasoning. And now we're going to let this just kind of simmer. The longer the better, so probably a couple of hours anyways. And then we'll show you what it looks like when it's all done. So stick with us. So here we are, finished product. Bowl. Some sour cream. And how does that look?
Delicious.